What's up, everybody? Arrg The Pirate here, and since the version 43.3 patch notes have came out, and I've kind of done my quick guide to it where I just kind of go over them, I've had a lot of people ask me, hey man, what are your opinions about everything? I would really like to know your input and not just the kind of facts. And you know, I really wanted to start doing that, and I was planning on actually doing that, but I didn't realize this patch is as big as it is. I mean, this is a huge patch. So I just decided, hey, I'm just going to go over them because, you know, I've always liked it. You know, before I started YouTube, I've always liked being at work and having someone come out with this video. I can throw it on and not even watch the video, just listen to it, and I'll know the patch notes instead of having to go and read because, you know, reading's hard. So I'll definitely start doing my opinions more. But let's kind of get into this. I've already done the quick guide. You know, this is going to be a late night video. So let's get into this. My first thoughts on patch 43.3, my first video of just thoughts on a patch. Now, I'm really just going to cover the big changes and, you know, kind of see where they are. You know, as far as someone like Crunch, where he's just getting the minor stuff, you know, hey, I'll just skip over that. But let's start out with Aurora. Now, Aurora's Glacial Charge is being changed by 300 units every level, and while that's substantial, I don't think that's going to hurt her that much. You know, it might actually help the enemy team when, you know, hey, she's coming in for that Glacial Charge slide with her ult. You know, they might have a little bit more time to react, and with her much faster animations, I think that time is desperately needed on the enemy team. You know, the cooldown increase, it's 10, 15, and 20 seconds. You know, it's so minor. I don't really see that having a huge effect on her. If it was a 40-second increase, you know, yeah, I could see that being an issue. But 10, 15, 20, you know, whatever. The slow magnitude, you know, I would really like to see how this works. You know, it's down from 250 to 150, but without really knowing how this works and actually seeing it play out, I don't know. But if you are, you know, once you start exploding, if that's still the same amount of time, it'd be great. I think if that slowdown might even be a buff for her, because you might be able to position your team a little bit faster, or, you know, once you go into ult, your team might be able to position themselves faster, but that's also giving a little bit more time for the enemy to escape. So if there's a Gideon or something, they might be able to get out. We'll definitely have to wait and see on that. Alright, moving on. Let's talk about Feng. Now, Feng is getting a decent nerf with his conversion shield, down 25 points per level. And, you know, that's good. His shield seems pretty strong right now, and, you know, hey, that's no problem. Earth Shatter, you know, the increase in the cooldown on that, I think that's very, very minor. And the general balance, you know, he's getting that movement speed decrease, which he needed. You know, he could keep up with you when you're trying to run away, and still hitting you. It was crazy. You know, the base health and the attack damage per level, you know, those are changes, but, you know, he did get a pretty good change on that attack damage per level, but without, you know, getting to play with him yet, I don't know how significant that's going to be. You know, they didn't really change any of the scaling, which I think right now cards are really what's giving the power, not the actual kits or the baseline stats. So we'll definitely have to wait and see on that, but I think Feng will be in a better place. I don't really see him as being unusable at this point. I think he's still going to be very, very viable. Kallari got a change with her Shadow Dance, and she's actually getting more health now while in the Shadow Plane. And I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if any of y'all have used that Arrg Initiate, whatever that card is. The one that puts the link on you and it kills you slowly. If any of y'all have ever used that card with Kallari, it's completely broken. You can go invisible, walk up to the healthiest hero in the entire game, and, you know, link to them. As long as you're staying invisible, you're getting that massive amount of health regen, and they're going to die way before you do. So you basically become a tank killer without ever even attacking. And I just don't really feel that that's, you know, it's broken. That's not that's not fair, it's not fun, and now she's even going to have an easier job of doing that, so she might be able to hit somebody like, you know, a full health Greystone and kill them out, or, you know, maybe a Richter or Steel. So I don't know how I feel about that. She is getting a little bit of health and health regen per level, which, you know, like it's basically nothing but a health boost for her. And like I said, when you got that card on, she's basically unkillable. But I think that is a problem with the card and not her. Next, let's talk about Quang. Now, Quang is getting hit pretty hard with these cooldown reductions. You know, the range on Judgment of Heavens, you know, it's going back to almost normal. The cooldown from 8 to 10 seconds on Light of Heavens. Fury of the Heavens getting that pretty big cooldown increase. And just the general balance. You know, he's getting just a full body nerf. And I think that's definitely going to take him out of, you know, probably the most picked hero in Paragon right now. But, like I said, we'll definitely have to wait and see. I was actually fine with the range increase of Judgment of Heavens because, you know, it did really appeal to the more casual player. And it definitely took a lot of the skill out of Quang, which is kind of how I feel about Countess in her current state. But I was okay with it because, you know, yeah, until you mastered that, you know, rooting somebody, your kit was just destroyed. If you couldn't master that, you know, you couldn't really master the hero, and it just kind of gave a little bit of an easier shot at mastering him. And, you know, the high-end Quang players, they didn't need the increase because they could land it no matter what. So, I don't know, I just never really had an issue with this change, but we'll definitely have to wait and see. I really do hope this brings him down on par with everybody else in, you know, currently in Paragon. Now, I think one of the biggest changes, even though it's very small, is with Lieutenant Bellica. Her Seismic Assault stun is getting nerfed like crazy. It's, you know, cut in half almost at the beginning. And at the end, you know, it kind of slowly catches back up. But this is a huge impact for her. You know, I think it's going to be much more difficult for her to play a position like support when you've only got, you know, a half-second stun, or, you know, when you want to play that mid lane and you're going against a very aggressive team that comes in to gank you, and, you know, boom, you hit them with a half-second stun, you're not going to have enough time to get out. So I think this is a huge nerf on her part. I really hope this doesn't affect her. I really like playing Bellica, and I've always really liked playing Bellica support. But with this nerf, I do kind of see Bellica support kind of going away. Now, the phase change is, you know, in my opinion, this is a big one, and I'm a huge phase fan. With that cooldown from Telekinetic Link going down 2 seconds, I don't see that as having much of an impact, but Hyperflux to me is huge. Changing it from 70 to 85 to 100 attack speed increase is, you know, massive. Can you imagine having 100 extra attack speed when you're hitting an inhib or something like that? Or your mana regen. You know, right now, the mana regen on phase is terrible. You can't recharge anybody's mana, but having it go all the way up to 4,500% mana regen, you know, if you're at 3% or 3 mana regen, you know, when you get that 4,500 mana regen, you know, that's almost, you know, what, 44,000 regen? That's, you know, in 2 seconds you're going to be at max mana, and you're not going to be able to spam your abilities fast enough. That's absolutely insane. So, you know, I kind of just wish they made it where her ult refills your mana a certain percentage. Like, instead of it having this mana regen, you know, percentage go up, just say, hey, at rank 1 you get 50, rank 2 you get 60, and rank 3 you get 75% of your mana back. Boom, there you go. That seems so much simpler to me, but, you know, it is what it is. We're kind of getting that anyway, so we'll definitely wait and see what happens. Now, I've been playing a ton of Richter lately, and I think he's going to be the new, you know, the new support. I think everybody's going to have a Richter on their team, whether he's in the jungle, which, you know, I don't particularly care for, or he's in the off lane, you know, safe lane, wherever. I think every team's going to have a Richter. Riplash, you know, having its cooldown, you know, 11-second cooldown at max level, that's nice. but Skewer having that cooldown from 105 to 60 seconds, and then at max level from 75 seconds to 30 seconds, you're going to be able to ult every 30 seconds. That's crazy. And, you know, with Richter, that paired with that Riplash, you know, I think that it's going to make for some awesome plays, and I'm really looking forward to that. Sevarog's changes are nice. You know, the damage increase on his Siphon is nice. The base health, you know, Sevarog's changes are nice. I don't know if it's going to bring him back to where he used to be. You know, anytime you get into a match with Sevarog, he's hard to deal with. Sevarog is a very tough hero, but, you know, you don't really see people spending a whole lot of time in jungle, getting minions, you know, things like that. The game's so much faster than it used to be, and even though he did get the reduction on souls that he required, you know, I just don't really see that. And with so many other heroes out there that are just really amazing tanks, I don't think he's a bad hero. I think he's just kind of being outshined right now. Now, the last changes I really want to talk about is Zinx, and with these changes, I don't think Zinx is going to be in a better spot. I think she's going to be about where she is now. You know, I really think she needs something more than what she has. If you watched the video I did the other day about the community corner, I kind of talked about Wraith a little bit, where I kind of think Wraith is in a bad spot because he's not good at a single job. And I think Zinx is, you know, she's kind of in that same boat. But Zinx is only good at one job, but she's not great at it. And I think that is a problem for her. You know, there's only a couple of heroes out there that are only good at a single job. And that mainly goes around your ADCs or kind of your mainline supports. Of course, you know, there are people that play Death Muriel mid lane or, you know, full damage Decker. But, you know, those are special occasions. There's typically your supports and your ADCs, besides your tanky supports. They're kind of really good at one job, and that's really it. And Zinx is kind of in that same boat, I would say. She's a great offlaner. She's awful in the mid lane. She's not really an ADC. She's not really a support, even though she does have a stun. You know, but she's an offlaner. That's what she does, but she's not great at it. And I think that's kind of her downfall. And, you know, I don't think these general balance issues are going to make her better. But, you know, hey, please prove me wrong. I would love to see more Zinx plays out there. I really like the idea of Zinx. I'm not a fan of the hero, but I like the idea behind her. So hopefully we can actually see her get out there and make some changes. Now, as far as cards, Numbing Rogue, this one is probably the card that hits me the hardest. I really like Numbing Rogue, man. But with it getting its power removed and going for pure health, you know, it is a tank card. It should be put on tanks. But, you know, running Numbing Rogue on pretty much everybody was always fun. So we are seeing a change with that, and it changing from 25 to 20%, you know, damage or basic attack. That's huge, and it really did need to be reduced. You know, that 25%, if you weren't really building with just a crazy amount of attack speed, if you were more of a tank, you know, or building into vitality more, that attack speed would take you down to, you know, 1, maybe 2 attacks a second, which, you know, that's crazy. That's really, really slow. So you were basically a, you know, just a caster at that point, and it didn't feel good. So that's a great change, and I'm looking forward to it. Plague Lord, it getting its power reduced and the radius reduced and the movement speed slow reduced is, you know, that probably needed to happen. And you know, I gotta say, I still think it's going to be a great card. Not being able to escape when you've got a hero like Aurora, which you know, playing this on Aurora feels good. I played it on a Shimby game, which that Shimby game should be coming out soon. You know, it isn't going to be in the new Hollow's Eve or Shadow's Eve, whatever it's called. It's not going to be on that. But, you know, it was a great game, and I needed to make a Shimby video. I played on her, and it feels awesome. So, you know, I still don't think it's going to be changed all that much. But, you know, like I said, we'll have to wait and see. I guess before I really get into the knowledge side of things, everybody is getting ability damage across the board buffed, but all the power cards are getting nerfed. You know, it really, this is one of the reasons why I didn't really want to give my opinion. This seems so strange. It seems like, you know, we're buffing everybody's health and reducing everybody's damage, but we're getting rid of tank meta. You know, it just seems, it seems so strange to me. And that's really why I was kind of holding off on giving my opinions and just kind of waiting to see what happened. But, you know, hey, y'all forced this video out of me. So but Atomic Soldier, you know, the power reduction is only 2. I don't think it's going to be that huge. I think the biggest hit to Atomic Soldier is everybody's getting their ability armor buffed. And, you know, to me, that's huge. Cryo Agent is getting that buff. You know, it's going to have a shorter cooldown. And, you know, yeah, we might see this card more, but, you know, honestly, I think there's only a couple of heroes that can really take advantage of this card all that much, and I don't play most of them, so no big deal in my mind. Static Trap is getting a whole ton of changes, and I can go over them all, but I mean, I already did that. I still don't think I'll ever play with this card. I don't like traps. I'm not a huge active fan, but whenever I have an active, I want something to happen whenever I use it. And I don't like the whole fact of, hey, throw down a trap and then wait for a second and then hopefully someone will walk into it. I don't like that idea, and you know, I'm just not a fan of that. OPD Militia, I think this is the card that I think this card's going to be great. I did do a Chimera video where I tried this card out on Chimera and it was good. But, you know, yeah, you just blast through mana. But when you start hitting somebody, they're dead. You know, it was really fun to use. And with it getting this pretty substantial buff, I think it's going to be even better. You know, basically, 4 hits cost 100 mana. Well, now it's 5 hits cost 100 mana with it. And it's got a 5-point power increase. I really think this card's going to be really good on the heroes that can, you know, take full advantage of it. Now, I'm just going to skip over order. You know, there's a couple of changes there. But with growth, you know, the first card I want to talk about is Growth Totem, of course. And Growth Totem, it's huge. Growth Totem is the #1 card, I would say. You know, I've seen ADCs use it. I've seen casters use it. I've seen supports use it. You know, offlaners use it. Most junglers, you know, everybody on the team can use this card, and oftentimes everybody does. And I think the minor reduction that it's getting is just a waste. You know, this card is still going to be the #1 card. And I don't think the problem with the card is that it, you know, it's such a good card. The reason it's a good card is it's a free card. You know, you can, let's say you're building a tank and you put on, you know, exoskeleton to start out with. So that's 1 point in vitality. And you're slowly building up, and you work your way straight to your Unbroken Spirit. Well, you're able to put on Growth Totem, you know, 3 points ahead of when you can put on Unbroken Spirit. Which, you know, that's great. So at that point, you're going to have 3 decent cards, and then you throw on, you know, when you get your next 3 points, you take those other 2 cards on, throw Unbroken Spirit on. Well, you still have 2 really solid cards on at that point. You know, you've got a, you know, 4 or 5 point power card and a 200 health card that cost nothing, and then you've got this amazing tank card. And, you know, that's really where I see that card. Yeah, the problem is not that it is, you know, just a great card and everybody needs it. The problem is it's a great card that's free and everybody needs it. So I think if they changed it to where it started out at like 6,000 gold, and, you know, you had to spend at least 200 gold on it. Or maybe just have it the same way, but it cost, you know, 3 or 4 vitality. You might see a change within this card, but right now, with the way it is, I don't think this card will ever change. Now, Unbroken Spirit is getting hit pretty hard in the damage department, down 8 points in power, which is, you know, almost cut in half. And reduced ability resistance, down 6, which, you know, I'm on board with the ability damage resist, or, you know, ability resistance. We are already getting a buff with that, you know, across the board. And on top of that, you know, this is a good tank card, but you know, there were a lot of times that, man, I should have died in that fight. It's like, I got hit with 3 Gideon rocks, and I'm still at, like, 3/4 health. You know, so I'm okay with this, you know, getting a little reduction, especially since we're all getting a boost. And the health regen, you know, the health regen is pretty minor, from 12 to 5, or from 12 to 10. So, you know, I still think this is going to be a very solid tank card, but you know, before this card turns you into a bruiser, now it's going to turn you into a tank, and I really like that. Now, Blitz Rush is getting a, you know, pretty good buff, and I actually might use this card now. You know, I don't even know if I've ever equipped this card other than to just see what it actually did. You know, it's getting a pretty good buff, and now, since it's offering power, I think people might use it. I think one of the most discouraging things about it is it takes intellect, and you know, if you want to put that on someone like an ADC, you know, I don't typically build into intellect on ADCs, so, yeah, I kind of don't see that. Maybe on a jungler, but, you know, at the same time, I don't build into intellect on junglers, and I think that might be one of the issues with it. It takes a very specific type of build to make this happen, and if you're not going to build anything else into intellect, putting 2 points early game into intellect just for Blitz Rush is not really worth. Death Crawler's getting that, you know, cooldown reduction, which I think might be pretty big, you know, from 8 to 5 seconds, but since you can miss it, it might not be as bad, but it is not getting a, you know, a damage increase like the other, you know, damage dealing cards are. Heavy Hitters reduction, you know, that 3 points in reduction, that might be substantial, especially that paired with Shattered Golem. You're losing a total of 8 points in power. That's pretty substantial, so we'll have to wait and see how that is as well. Lastly, Quick Exit getting another nerf. You know, they need to leave this gym alone. I thought it was great. I did think it was a little overtuned before, but this next round of nerfs that it's getting, to me, it's huge. It's, you know, that 75 reduction in speed, so that's a full 100 or 125 from the original, and going down 2 seconds. I mean, that's really only going to help you out if, you know, you're about to lose an inhib. So you've got to pick this early game gym for a decent late game, and I don't really see that happening. But hey, who knows? I'll probably start switching off of Quick Exit, but we'll definitely have to wait and see. Well, that's going to wrap it up for my first ever, hey, listen to my opinions video. I really hope y'all enjoyed. And if you did, please leave me a comment. Let me know if you would like me to do more like this during these big updates, during these changes. Let me know if y'all would like to hear my opinions more than the actual facts, or kind of both. Like, I'll give you the opinion and then, or give you the fact and tell you my opinion. You know, let me know, because, yeah, you know, I am still fairly new to YouTube, and, you know, I make these videos for y'all guys. So if y'all want me to make a video of, you know, me playing Aurora ADC, you know, yeah, of course I'll try it. I might not like it, but I'll try it. So definitely let me know what your thoughts on this was, and if you did enjoy, show me some love, leave me a comment, think about subscribing, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.